Welcome to Market Tea Tuesday,
where the tea is always hot.
Good morning and welcome to Market Tea Tuesday. We are ready to spill the tea.
Yes, we are. There's a lot of tea. Not always the best, right? Some tea is not always good.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes negative to positive. So
right. And it has been a rough week in real estate from what we've seen, and what we've read. As you know, these existing home prices have dropped a little bit. So we just have to kind of wait and see how that looks coming into the summer now that people are looking to move right before school starts. I think it's going to die down for the next couple of weeks though.
Yeah. And I did notice a lot of activity this weekend too. So I think it's like a double-edged sword as well. It's a holiday weekend and I had a lot of people at an open house and stuff. So not always there's always some optimism in the thing. So but we did talk about home sales dropped again. It's 2% below last year's. But again, we have to look at things like, for example, we have to look at condos again. We're going to keep beating that horse. Condos, because that's been built into the average. And that's really important to pay attention to.
Right. And I do think we see it more here in our market because everyone wants a beach condo and those are hard to come by and for someone to qualify for them. Something that I saw that was interesting, and I think it's such a great opportunity for first-time home buyers, given that Florida Hometown Heroes is about, we're just a month away from it being rolled out, is that first-time home buyers made up 34% of purchases. And that has been the highest since June of 2020. So I think that's a big eye-opener for people that are still on the fence to say, oh, we're still going to wait. We're going to save. No, there's opportunity right now, and we can make sure that we play with scenarios and all the things for you. And with Florida Hometown Heroes being rolled out, I think that's a great way for you to get your foot in the door. Even if it's not the program for you, we can still strategize and get you into a home.
I think another thing too is to really focus in on that is that there's more inventory for them to choose from. Sellers are getting out of that. We're in a buyer's market. It's a perfect time. When we go back to that seller's market and we shift back, there is no way these first-time home buyers are going to have it as easy because they're getting closing costs paid for right now. They're getting lower prices. They're able to negotiate. Sellers are having to do some of the repairs. So I don't think that there's a better time than now for a first-time buyer to buy. And people are always like, I'm going to wait till rates come down. I'm going to wait till this. But then what happens is your inventory goes down. Your inventory goes down. Prices skyrocket. So I think it's really huge to know that,
It gets a little bit more competitive and you don't want to deal with that. I think right now you have the upper hand, like you mentioned. You're able to negotiate things with the sellers. And I personally can say that 9 out of 10 contracts that I get, seller credits are being negotiated.
Oh, yeah.
So don't feel like, definitely partner with the right agents, because I have seen agents that just go in and ask for the highest amount possible. What's the worst? I always say, I'm like, what's the worst that they can say? No, we're not going to give you 3%. We're going to give you 1.5%. We'll take that 1.5% and we'll make it work for you. So definitely know that it is a market for buyers right now. It's definitely a buyer's market.
No, I think that's really important to talk about. And then we know that consumer confidence is down a bit. But that's to be expected because there's a lot of unpredictability in our market right now.
And what do you think caused that?
Tariffs. We don't know where they're going to be at. We don't know where the things. So we just talk about tariffs. But I think that that's really important to talk about. And they also don't know where the housing market's going. Like I say, memories are always short. So the last recession that they remember is 2006, 2008. But again, that's not going to happen. It's just that constant uncertainty of that. We saw a skyrocket in rates, but again, we're volatile. We're going to see this constantly.
Right.
But ask for seller concessions. Let's buy that rate down a little bit. Let's make it feasible for you. Because let me just tell you, right is 100%.
Yeah. And I did see that the reason why there's so much uncertainty in all the things right now is because the tariffs, we still don't know the impact of it, but especially with the material costs and where are we going to land, right? Once this 90-day break is over, like what's going to happen after that? So a lot of builders are kind of hesitant to even go and commit to projects because they don't know what's coming. And with that being said, April, the permits were down. I mean, we saw an increase in the number of permits, and we need new homes being built because there is still a demand out there.
Exactly. Well, and we have a generation coming up that unfortunately is having to live with their parents longer because of housing affordability. We're seeing that a lot. And Fannie came out actually and said that they believe in the end of 2025, we're going to see lower rates. And then really we're going to see them even lower in 2026, which I think is a big thing to recognize. And they're setting the precedents, right? We really need to see inflation cool to 2%. Right now, I think we're at 2.4. We need to see it to get that down. And that's important.
Okay. And what do you personally think what factors do you think are going to help that come down?
Predictability of tariffs.
Okay.
Predictability of housing, I think, is the big thing. Like jobs. People don't want to buy a house and then be out of a job and can't find a job. But then again, on the other side, we've seen an opposite thing as a personal level. We've been looking for somebody here, and it's hard to find somebody to even apply for these jobs. So it's like, are there really no jobs out there, or are people just not wanting to work? I think it's an important thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm sure it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, and things are expensive. Think about groceries, things like that. People, again, are locked into the move-up buyers that we would normally have are locked into golden handcuffs because 2.75. We talk about assumability of being able to take over that loan, but if that's only FHA and VA, and the problem with assumability is that nobody has that cash difference to pay.
Yeah. And credit card debt also has a big influence on all this, right? The more credit card debt that we all rack up, it's going to impact us and not in a good way. So I saw that the 10-year treasury, not directly, but the 10-year treasury did jump over 4.5%. So that actually increased the mortgage rate. So we want to make sure that we be mindful of everything that's going on. It's not just, the 10-year treasury, and that's it. No, there's so many different factors that impact the 10-year treasury that we have to look at and be conscious of. So
and watching that, and when the market gains some more confidence, I think that we'll see some things. But I think it's our job to be important to prepare buyers, work with realtors to just make them confident, let them know that we're in their corner to make it feasible for them. And we're not here to make them broke with a house. Now, listen, if you have a rent of $800, $1,200, you might want to consider still renting. I'm going to be honest with you, because it's hard to achieve that payment if that's you living paycheck to paycheck. While I could sit here and say homeownership, it's for everyone. Sometimes it's not. If you're making fixed income, it may not be right now, but that doesn't mean forever. So I always say, we don't say no, we say, tell you how to get there. And as long as you want it more than I do, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah. I always say, I love that. The buyers need to want it more than we do. We're willing to put all the work in for you, but you have to do a little bit of it yourself. Also, I know Fed rate cuts are a big thing that we get asked about all the time, and June does not look hopeful. And I don't think we're going to see that in June.
We don't want to see it yet. Inflation's not low enough. I know everybody's talking about it, but I'm telling you, if they lower rates right now, we're going to see mortgage rates go up.
Yeah. And I don't think that projection right now is that we probably won't see anything till September. So from now to then, a lot can happen. Yeah. And you don't want to lose out on potentially getting the right home for you and your family. Right now we're in the summer, so kids are out of school. It's a great time for you to make that move, depending on, if you want to stay in the area or if you want to get in, be zoned for a different school. It's a great opportunity right now.
And let me talk to you about opportunity too, because one thing you'll notice is whenever there's opportunity in the market with this inventory and being able to talk lower prices, you're going to see the investors come out. So I have seen a ton of investors buying because they don't live in that fear. And they know that buying now creates something bigger for them later. So let's reach out to investors. Let's see how we can help, because there's so many loans and opportunities that they can get where they're not paying. They don't have to have any income. We have so many products that offer that. So there's people in other countries that they can buy here with no income, no credit, nothing, as long as they have the down payment and the reserves. So reach out to different prospects in your clientele, because maybe it's not the opportunity for your move up buyers like you would normally have. And yes, you have a lot of things, but go find the buyers for them and speak to them with confidence and let them know that you have things to help them get these things accomplished, because good investors aren't going to be feared of this market. They're going to know that there's opportunity.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, I think this market tea was piping hot.
Yeah. And I think, there's a quote that says, don't wait for the right opportunity, create it. So let's create the opportunities.
Yes. Yes. And that's what we're here for. Again, we can't stress this enough. And we're going to say it every week. We are here for you guys. Any strategy, any scenario that you want us to put together for you, definitely reach out. We love to get creative. That's for sure. And, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we do whatever is going to get you in a home. So, reach out to your investors.
We'd love to have a guest speaker on, like a realtor, to talk about what they're seeing in the market. So if you would like to be a guest speaker, please message us. Also, please message us like any questions you have, because we want to make this about you, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And again, our first guest is going to get a tea basket, and I'm so excited to put it together. So maybe if I put it together and we show it, maybe people will get a little bit more excited and join us.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.
All right. See you next week. Bye.